History was not just made at Money in the Bank 2025. It was rewritten in front of our very eyes. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the man who has defined dominance in WWE for years, stunned the world when he officially revealed his brand new Shield members in a way nobody saw coming. And the shock waves from this reveal are still shaking the WWE universe. Fans all across the globe are buzzing. Social media is exploding. And the entire wrestling industry has been forced to recalibrate because Roman Reigns has completely shifted the balance of power. If you think WWE will ever be the same after tonight, think again. Because what went down at Money in the Bank is already being called one of the most game-changing moments in modern wrestling history. For months, the speculation ran wild. Whispers spread like wildfire in locker rooms, fan forums, and insider reports. Everyone was desperate to know who Roman would recruit if he was truly going to rebuild the Shield, a faction that is forever etched into wrestling folklore. Welcome back, Wrestling News WWE. Paul Heyman's faction, led by Seth Rollins and backed by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, had looked unstoppable. Their brutal dominance, their calculated attacks, and their ability to control every storyline in WWE had made them look untouchable. But deep down, fans knew Roman Reigns was plotting something massive. And at Money in the Bank, he showed the entire world his plan in the most theatrical way possible. During the main event, the arena suddenly plunged into darkness. Thousands of fans held their breath as the eerie silence was broken by Roman's entrance theme, echoing with an intensity that seemed to shake the very foundation of the building. When the lights came back on, two towering figures in modified Shield tactical gear stood at his side. The crowd erupted, screaming, crying, and gasping as the masks came off to reveal the shocking truth. Standing next to Roman Reigns were two monsters, two game changers, former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou and the returning behemoth Braun Strowman. The atmosphere was electric. Fans could barely comprehend what they were seeing, and in that instant the new Shield was born before their eyes. Pyro erupted, fists were raised in the iconic Shield pose, and the entire arena seemed to shake under the weight of the moment. What happened next only poured fuel onto the fire. Francis Ngannou wasted no time proving his worth, grabbing Bronson Reed and hoisting him above his head with a display of raw power before hurling him into the barricade like a rag doll. Braun Strowman, not to be outdone, charged with all his fury and speared Braun Breaker straight through the announcer's table, shattering it into pieces. The carnage left Paul Heyman's faction in absolute shock, while Roman Reigns simply stood tall with a cold, knowing smirk watching his enemies crumble before his eyes. This was not just an introduction, it was a declaration of war. The landscape of WWE has changed forever with Francis Ngannou bringing a background of legitimate combat sports dominance that even Paul Heyman cannot manipulate with his psychological mind games, and Braun Strowman reinventing himself with a Shield rebirth that maintains his aura as an unstoppable monster. Roman has forged what may be the most physically dominant version of the Shield the WWE has ever seen. Insiders are already reporting that this was not some last-minute twist. Sources claimed Triple H had been secretly working on this project for months, quietly finalizing Ngannou's WWE contract and waiting for the perfect storm to unleash this shocker. The timing could not be more perfect because just as Heyman's group seemed to have locked WWE in a chokehold, Roman Reigns revealed a counterstrike that could shatter their empire and spark the most intense faction war of the modern era. Fans will remember Money in the Bank 2025 not just for the ladders, not just for the briefcase, but as the night Roman Reigns reshaped the entire future of WWE. With Ngannou and Strowman at his side, the tribal chief has created a juggernaut that might finally bring down Paul Heyman's reign of terror and turn the tide of WWE forever. So the question now is simple but massive. Who walks away from this faction war? Can Seth Rollins and his allies withstand this new Shield? Or are we about to witness their total destruction? Tell us your predictions in the comments because we want to hear from you. Do not miss a single update as this story unfolds, because this is just the beginning of a new war in WWE. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications because the fallout from this historic Money in the Bank moment is going to change everything you thought you knew about wrestling. This is history, this is war, and this is only the beginning. What happened at Money in the Bank 2025 was not just history being made. It was history being completely rewritten in a way that fans, wrestlers, and the entire WWE universe will never forget. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, the man who has carried the mantle of dominance for years, stunned the world when he officially unveiled his brand new Shield members, and this reveal has already sent shock waves that continue to rattle every corner of the wrestling industry. This was not just another big moment. This was the kind of seismic event that alters careers, reshapes rivalries, and redefines what WWE will look like moving forward. The entire fan base is still buzzing. Social media has erupted with endless reactions, and analysts are calling this a true turning point in professional wrestling. if you thought WWE was going to remain the same after tonight, think again, because what we saw at Money in the Bank is being cemented as one of the most game-changing revelations in recent memory. For months, fans speculated endlessly. Rumors spread like wildfire. Whispers of possibilities filled arenas and internet boards alike. Who would Roman Reigns recruit if he truly wanted to reform the Shield? Would it be a shocking legend from the past, an NXT standout hungry for the spotlight, or perhaps someone completely out of left field? Meanwhile, Paul Heyman's faction looked like it had built an empire nobody could topple. With Seth Rollins at the helm, backed by the sheer strength of Braun Breaker and the brute force of Bronson Reed, their dominance felt untouchable. They dismantled rivals week after week, controlled storylines, and appeared to be on a collision course with immortality. Yet deep down, everyone knew Roman was too strategic to sit back forever. Something was coming, something big. And at Money in the Bank, he finally unleashed his master stroke. In a way only Roman Reigns could. Dramatic, theatrical, and unforgettable. The main event carried attention unlike anything in recent memory. As Roman prepared to make his entrance, the arena suddenly plunged into total darkness. The crowd gasped. Fans leaned forward in their seats and the air was thick with anticipation. Then that unmistakable entrance theme hit, reverberating through the stadium like a battle cry. When the lights came back on, the sight left fans in absolute disbelief. Two massive figures cloaked in modified Shield gear stood tall at Roman's side. The silence broke into an eruption of screams, cheers, and shocked cries as the masks were removed. And in that jaw-dropping instant, the truth was revealed. Roman's new Shield brothers were none other than former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou and the returning monster among men, Braun Strowman. The roof nearly blew off the arena. Pyro exploded. Fists rose into the legendary Shield pose, and the sound of the crowd shook the very core of the stadium. The energy was raw, uncontainable, and historic. But the surprises didn't end with the reveal. Francis Ngannou wasted no time proving he belonged in this moment. In a jaw-dropping display of power, he grabbed Bronson Reed, lifted him above his head as if he were weightless, and launched him into the barricade with devastating force. The fans roared as Reed lay crumpled in shock. Braun Strowman, not to be outdone, came charging like a freight train, blasting through Braun Breaker with a monstrous spear that demolished the announcer's table into splinters. The chaos was absolute. Paul Heyman's faction was stunned into disbelief. And through it all, Roman Reigns stood calmly in the center of the storm with that trademark smirk, as if he had just unveiled the next phase of his empire. This was not a tease. This was not a one-night spectacle. This was Roman Reigns sending a crystal-clear message. A new Shield era has begun and WWE will never be the same again. With Francis Ngannou, Roman brings an aura of legitimate combat. Sports dominance that Paul Heyman cannot spin or manipulate with his mind games. With Braun Strowman, Roman reinvents a man who is already a monster and gives him new life as part of a faction that is feared and respected worldwide. Together, this trio may be the most physically dominant force WWE has ever seen. Reports backstage confirm that this was not improvised. According to insiders, Triple H had been quietly orchestrating this for months, finalizing Ngannou's WWE contract under the radar and waiting for the perfect moment to pull the trigger. And what better stage than Money in the Bank? The timing couldn't be more precise. Just when Heyman's group looked untouchable, Roman struck with a counterattack that flipped the entire power structure on its head. Fans will remember this event not just for the ladder matches or the briefcase, but as the night Roman Reigns reshaped the entire direction of WWE. With Strowman and Ngannou at his side, the Tribal Chief has created an unstoppable juggernaut. Designed to dismantle Heyman's reign of terror and carve out a new era of dominance. The question now is one that every fan is asking. Can Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed possibly survive this war? Or are we on the verge of seeing their empire crushed under the sheer force of the reborn Shield? This faction war is only just beginning and the fallout will be nothing short of explosive. So now it's over to you. Who do you think wins this battle for supremacy? Can Paul Heyman's group withstand the power of Roman's new army? Or are we witnessing the birth of an era where the Shield once again stands as the most feared unit in wrestling? Drop your predictions in the comments because we want to hear what you think. Don't miss a single update as this story unfolds. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because the fallout from Money in the Bank 2025 is going to dominate WWE and redefine everything you thought you knew about professional wrestling. This is history in the making. This is the beginning of war, and the new Shield has arrived to change the game forever. Money in the Bank 2025 did not just give us history. It completely rewrote the future of WWE in front of millions of fans watching live around the world. This was more than a shocking twist. This was a redefining moment that reshaped everything we thought we knew about power, dominance, and faction warfare in professional wrestling. Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the face of an entire era, once again proved why he is A master strategist and the ultimate game changer when he officially unveiled his new Shield brothers. In a reveal so shocking, so monumental that it sent shock waves across the wrestling universe that are still reverberating today. Social media exploded instantly. Fan reactions poured in non-stop, and analysts everywhere declared this night as a true turning point for WWE. If you thought this company was going to remain the same after this event, think again, because this was a statement that nothing will ever be the same again. For months, the WWE community was obsessed with the mystery surrounding Roman Reigns. Rumors ran wild in locker rooms, forums, and podcasts as people tried to guess who could possibly step into the black gear and bring the Shield back to life. Some thought it would be legends making their return. Others believed it would be NXT's brightest stars rising to the spotlight, while some dared to predict names that nobody had even considered. And all the while, Paul Heyman's faction looked stronger than ever, with Seth Rollins leading the charge, supported by Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Their grip over WWE seemed unbreakable. They dominated week after week. They controlled narratives and they made fans believe they were untouchable. But everyone knew deep down that Roman Reigns was never one to sit back and watch someone else run the show. He was planning something massive, and at Money in the Bank, he revealed his hand in a way that will go down as one of the most unforgettable reveals of all time. The main event itself felt like the calm before the storm. The atmosphere inside the arena was tense, almost eerie, as if every fan could sense that something big was about to happen. Then, without warning, the lights went out. Total darkness fell across the stadium and the energy shifted instantly. Fans screamed, cell phone lights flickered across the crowd, and the silence was deafening until Roman Reigns' music hit like a thunderclap. The sound rattled the building, shaking fans to their core. And when the lights came back on, the sight that greeted them was enough to make jaws drop to the floor. Standing on either side of Roman Reigns were two towering figures clad in modified Shield tactical gear. The arena went wild, fans screaming at the top of their lungs as the figures slowly pulled off their masks. And then the world saw the truth. Roman Reigns had brought in two monsters, former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou and the returning monster among men, Braun Strowman. The eruption from the crowd was unreal. The roof nearly came off the arena, and the moment instantly cemented itself in history. Fireworks and pyro exploded. The three men stood tall with fists raised in the iconic Shield pose, and the image alone was enough to send chills down the spines of fans watching everywhere. But this was not just a symbolic reveal. What happened next proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that this new Shield was here to dominate. Francis Ngannou wasted no time making his mark. In an astonishing display of power, he snatched Bronson Reed, hoisted him above his head like he was a lightweight before launching him into the barricade with brutal force that left the crowd gasping in disbelief. Braun Strowman, fueled by his monstrous rage, charged at Braun Breaker and delivered a devastating spear that tore right through the announcer's table, splintering it into pieces. The carnage was total. Heyman's faction lay in ruins, and Roman Reigns stood in the middle of it all, smirking as though he had just unveiled the most devastating weapon WWE had ever seen. This was not a teaser for the future. This was a declaration of war. This was Roman Reigns announcing to the world that a new Shield era had begun and that Wwe's power structure would never look the same again. With Francis Ngannou, Roman now has a warrior whose combat sports credentials bring a level of legitimacy and intimidation that Hman's mind games can never counter. With Braun Strowman, Roman has given new life to a monster whose presence alone sends shivers through opponents, reinventing him as part of a legacy faction that commands respect. Together, this trio may very well be the most dominant and physically unstoppable force WWE has ever seen assembled. And make no mistake, this was no accident. Reports backstage confirmed that this masterstroke was months in the making. Sources close to WWE revealed that Triple H had been working behind the scenes for a long time, quietly finalizing Nganou's contract and preparing this moment in total secrecy. The timing could not have been better. Just when Heyman's empire looked impenetrable, Roman revealed his trump card and turned the entire landscape upside down. Money in the Bank 2025 will now forever be remembered not only for its ladder matches or its iconic briefcase, but as the night Roman Reigns reshaped the very future of the company. With Ngannou and Strowman by his side, the tribal chief has formed a juggernaut designed to crush Paul Heyman's faction once and for all, and to usher in a new era of dominance unlike anything we have ever witnessed. And now the question that every fan is asking looms larger than ever. Can Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed survive this war, or are we about to witness the complete destruction of their empire at the hands of the reborn Shield? The battle lines are drawn. The war has only just begun and the fallout is guaranteed to be explosive. So now it's over to you, the WWE Universe. Who do you think wins this clash of factions? Can Paul Heyman's group hold their ground against the monstrous new Shield? Or is this the birth of a reign of terror led by Roman Reigns that nobody can stop? Drop your predictions in the comments because your voice matters in this story. Don't miss a single update as this battle unfolds because we are only at the very beginning of what promises to be one of the greatest wars in WWE history. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications right now because the fallout from Money in the Bank 2025 is going to dominate headlines, rewrite rivalries, and wrestling news. WWE redefine the future of professional wrestling. This is not just history being made, this is history being rewritten. This is the beginning of war, and this is the rise of the new Shield, a force that has arrived to change the game forever.